It's 10 o'clock. Do you know where your kids are and who they're with?
New at 10, he fell 30 feet and ended up trapped under a bridge for 3 days. What kept him alive? New at 10.
It happened before tasers were put on the shelf. Jacksonville police say she was out of control resisting arrest, so they had to use a type of stun gun on her. A 13-year-old girl tells her side of the story.
Sunshine today, clear skies tonight, but changes are coming as the clouds are moving in from the west. I'll tell you about that and our chances of getting wet coming up.
I'm Scott Johnson in Arlington, where it's been a tough time at Terry Parker High School after one teacher passes away and another is arrested. It's coming up. The 10 o'clock news starts right now.
Live from WJXT Channel 4, this is the one and only Eyewitness News.
Her life is so meaningful. Tilly's life will continue to be meaningful for all of us.
A quiet church, stained glass, and sturdy crosses. It is here that dignitaries, political figures, family, and friends will say goodbye to Tilly Fowler. Good evening. Mayor Payton calls her a lady of dignity, grace, and intellect, a great asset to Jacksonville.
Tonight, her friends and family prepare to say goodbye to a woman known as the Steel Magnolia. Former Congresswoman Tilly Fowler has died of the brain hemorrhage she suffered Monday morning. Governor Bush called her a great leader, saying she will be missed. House Speaker Dennis Hastert, she always kept her word. Her longtime friend Elizabeth Dole called her a woman who could achieve anything. Tonight, Channel 4's Adam Landau talked to local leaders who are reflecting on Tilly Fowler's grace and achievements. He is live on Ortega. Adam?
Tom, we are expecting a number of dignitaries to come to Jacksonville on Friday for her funeral. And tonight, condolences are coming in from across the country. But of course, for all of us here, this is very much local. In 2001, her friends held this Thanks Tilly rally after her last day in Congress. This after then Congresswoman Fowler explained why she only wanted to serve 8 years in the House.
I wanted to prove that you didn't have to be there 20 or 30 years to make a difference, that if you're willing to work hard, do your homework, that you can make a difference, and I think I showed that.
Now, many of those same supporters and friends will pack St. Mark's Episcopal Church to say goodbye for good.
Well, I love Tilly very much. We were great friends. She was a great mentor to me.
Acting Supervisor of Elections Bill Shy was Tilly Fowler's friend for 25 years. He was on vacation in Colorado, but rushed home for her funeral.
She was always in the halls of power, but she never lost her humility. She could walk the halls with the most powerful, but she'd come back to Jacksonville and all of her friends were just good old Tilly, and she had many, many friends.
On the floor of the House, Tilly Fowler's former colleagues took time to remember her and comfort her family.
Our prayers are with Tilly's family during this difficult time, and we will all miss her greatly. Her loved ones should know that Tilly left them, our country, and all who had the good fortune to know her, a wonderful and lasting legacy.
And tonight, the family friends that are helping to organize the funeral on Friday say they have a tough balancing act, letting the public mourn the loss of the woman they love so much while letting her family mourn in private. We're live in Ortega. Adam Landau, Channel 4, the local station.
The service for Mrs. Fowler will be this Friday at 1 o'clock in the afternoon at St. Mark's Episcopal Church on Oxford Avenue in Ortega. In lieu of flowers, the family is asking that donations be made to the Tilly K. Fowler NROTC Scholarship Fund at Jacksonville University. For more information about Friday's service and a complete look at Tilly Fowler's political career, log on to news4jax.com.
Brand new at 10, a 13-year-old arrested after police say she went ballistic, punching and kicking her mother. An officer says he tasered the teen after repeatedly trying to get her to cooperate. Tonight, Channel 4's Jennifer Bauer has more from police and the teen's family. It's a story you'll see only on 4.
It's been a hot topic around Jacksonville for months. To taser or not to taser? And should there be tasers in schools? Well, tonight, the mother of a 13-year-old girl who was tasered 3 weeks ago speaks out.
It felt like a bunch of static electricity, like multiple static electricity all over my back and legs.
She was going, "Wah!" and her body would just shake.
3 weeks ago, 13-year-old Jasmine Khaled was tasered by a JSO officer. She says she still has the marks to prove it.
Yeah, I was scared.
Rosie Vaughn says she called police on her daughter because she was out of control and getting aggressive.
No, I wanted her taken to the mental hospital because I thought she was going to be a danger to herself.
But she says when police arrived, they arrested her 13-year-old daughter. And what happened next, she says, is shocking. Literally.
And the other officer came in and zapped her. And she jumped from one side of the patrol car to the other and just shook uncontrollably.
He tasered me 6 times.
According to the police report, Jasmine was tasered twice, but only after officers struggled repeatedly to get her under control. The report reads, "I attempted to handcuff the suspect, and she began to resist by pulling away. After several attempts, officers say the suspect then became more irate and began to kick her feet against my patrol car door. I grabbed the suspect's arm and attempted to force it behind her back. The suspect continued to resist and became more combative."
Those are 2 big men. One was tall and thin, and one was like tall and a little big.
No, honestly, I didn't think that that was necessary because, I mean, they're men. They can take a grown woman down. They can take me down. And I didn't think that it was necessary for her to be tasered.
But they did, and now Rosie says she'll live with that haunting memory forever.
It's just something I wouldn't wish it on anybody, because it is just so scary.
Right now, the sheriff's office is reviewing the case, but Under Sheriff Frank Mackesy defends using the devices. He says the taser that was used on Jasmine wasn't the typical type. It didn't shoot barbs, and instead of seizing the body up, it's only meant to cause pain on the area where you put it. Jennifer Bauer, Channel 4, the local station.
A cell phone call from inside Fletcher High School put the whole school on a code red lockdown. The principal says it was apparently a hoax. Police rushed to Fletcher at Neptune Beach just before noon because of a caller who claimed a student had a hand grenade. Authorities found no suspicious devices there, but police searched every student, every locker, and every backpack. Students were searched in groups of 25 and then moved to a field where some of them were picked up by parents. Again, nothing suspicious was found. Trying times at Terry Parker High School.
Students and faculty stunned by news about 2 teachers there. Word is spreading on campus that a science teacher died suddenly this week. Police say they're not sure yet how Terry Hannibus died, but they say it appears to be from natural causes. And in an unrelated case, driver's ed teacher and former Vice Principal Lamar Minton was locked up, accused of illegal extracurricular activities. He's been charged with growing pot in his home. News since 6 o'clock. Channel 4's Scott Johnson talked to people on campus about both teachers. He's live at Terry Parker. Scott?
Tom, administrators are just saying it has been an exhausting week here at Terry Parker. Such hard news to deal with Mr. Hannibus, and now the arrest is something they'll have to explain to kids. A tough couple of days at Terry Parker High School, where police have been involved with 2 teachers, one for criminal reasons, and the other case is even more serious.
Just out of the blue. You'd never expect it.
Eddie Burnham's neighbor, Terry Hannibus, was found dead in his West Side home today. Hannibus was a teacher at Terry Parker High.
Just a real nice guy. He was the best neighbor you'd want to have. He didn't bother nobody.
Police tell Channel 4 that a body had been found inside after being there for a few days, and the school district confirms it was Hannibus.
That's the last thing you expected.
But this isn't the only problem Terry Parker has been dealing with. In an unrelated case, the school's driver's ed teacher, Lamar Minton, has been arrested for possessing marijuana. Police reports say that officers found approximately 40 marijuana plants inside his home.
That puts a message to everybody that, oh yeah, it's okay. You know, if I can do it, you can do it, you know.
Parents we talked to say they worry about the impact this arrest will have on their kids.
Yeah, that makes it even more tougher, you know, especially for the parents.
And administrators here at Terry Parker who didn't want to go on camera also say that there have been even more headaches throughout the day. They tried to help out at Fletcher High School with a bogus bomb threat. They say all this has just simply been exhausting. So when school is back in session at Terry Parker, the faculty will likely have to answer questions about the teacher that went to jail and deal with the loss of the teacher that won't be coming back. And the school district tells us tonight that Mr. Minton has been removed from duties while there is an investigation into the arrest. And as far as Mr. Hannibus, there is still no cause of death, although we are told it was likely natural causes by the sheriff's office. We are live in Arlington. Scott Johnson, Channel 4, the local station.
A desperate family asking everyone tonight to keep a lookout right now. Their missing teenage daughter has not been seen since yesterday afternoon. Police say 14-year-old Kayla King got into an argument with another student at her school, Lee High. She was sent to the office, then told to return to class. Police say she had not been seen since. She is 5'2", about 170 pounds. If you've seen her, you're asked to call police at 630-0500.
Clear and cold tonight, and we can expect another round of near freezing temperatures. Let's take a live look through our tower camera, and it looks beautiful out there and chilly. Senior meteorologist Brad Nitz has your first forecast. Brad?
It is chilly, it is cold, near freezing, but not quite to freezing tonight, so not quite as cold as it was last night. The clouds have been increasing over the last few hours, but still, live Doppler 4.0 showing dry conditions in the area. As far as temperatures go, around Deep Creek in northern sections of Columbia County, it's 40 degrees, and then Murtis at 41 in Columbia County, in Baker County 43 around Kenny, and into Nassau County 42 degrees, and then down here in central sections of St. Johns County, 45 right now in College Park. Let's check it out here. Jacksonville south side, Deerwood around 47 degrees, west towards Cedar Hills at 45, and Hyde Park 45 as well, 43 degrees at Pickettville. And on the north side right now, temperatures there, Ocean Way around 44 degrees, and out towards our beaches, the mouth of the St. Johns River, Fort George Island and Mayport at 55 degrees. So we're looking at cool temperatures, but not as cold as they've been. Check it out. This is what we'll see tomorrow morning. We'll have some clouds coming at us, mainly high clouds from the west. So we'll call it partly cloudy. It'll be cold, down to 36 degrees tomorrow morning, but that's not quite as cold as the 32 we saw this morning. We'll talk about how long these cold mornings will stick with us and when we'll see temperatures back near 70, back to normal, coming up in a few minutes.
Thanks, Brad. 3 days clinging to a bridge, but rescued at last. How the survivor made it, new at 10.
And you've heard it before, business in the front, party in the back. We're taking you to Mullet Night.
And I'm Lauren Freeman. The video has been beamed across the country. Now the woman who admits she started this melee has new troubles.
Well, this is a very serious and interesting product test. We're checking out the Child Sentry. This is a system designed to help you keep tabs on your kids in busy places like shopping malls. But this test was full of surprises.
It's not the biggest name, but it is the most coveted free agent available. Coming to Jacksonville. We'll talk about the Jaguars signing coming up in sports.
We're proud to cover Pickettville, Palmo, and Putnam Hall.
You're watching the 10 o'clock news.
You've never seen anything like it. Ernie Palmer's Use Messiah, Cassett Avenue. Live from WJXT, Tom Wills, Mary Bear, Rob Sweeting, Lauren Freeman, meteorologist Brad Nitz, and Sam Tavares with sports. This is Channel 4 Eyewitness News.
More local news now. Fears are growing as a sinkhole near Lake City in Columbia County gets larger. Right now, that hole is more than 225 feet wide, and bit by bit, it is eating away more ground.
Tonight, city workers are filling the hole with some 400 bags of sand. They're hoping that will stop the sinkhole from spreading. Meanwhile, neighbors are coming to terms with a very serious reality. Their homes could be gone in just a matter of days.
Today, I'm not as upset as I was yesterday. Yesterday, it was very frightening because we didn't know what was happening. I mean, now we know we're probably going to lose our home.
Right now, residents within a half mile of the sinkhole remain under a boil water advisory. In addition, part of County Road 252 near the massive problem remains closed to traffic.
In tonight's Focus on Florida, a homeless man stuck on a Miami bridge for almost 3 days, rescued. The man said he was fishing from the drawbridge Sunday night when he fell about 30 feet and landed on a concrete structure inside the bridge. A bridge maintenance worker heard the man's cries for help and called police. It took rescue crews more than an hour to free the man. He said he survived the 3-day ordeal by drinking drain water. He was airlifted to a hospital for treatment. Covering America tonight, a pizza parlor beating caught on tape is now putting another kind of beating on a suspect's attorney. Lauren's in the newsroom. Lauren?
Tom Burstina Sims' attorney says that he has gotten threats on his life since that video was released. Attorney Walter Madison says he gets about 24 racially charged phone call threats a day. His client has already served 6 months in jail after pleading guilty to 3 misdemeanor charges. Now the county has charged her with a felony, and she faces 2 to 8 years in prison for the attack. Madison now fears that he will not get a fair trial because the video has now been seen nationwide. Police say they used screws to chip through 3 inches of glass. 2 Tennessee inmates spent a lot of time breaking out, only to come back in. According to prison officials, the 2 inmates broke out of their cell, stayed gone for about 3 hours, then returned on their own. One of the inmates is serving 6 years for a probation violation, the other for murder. Police say the 2 did not commit any crimes while they were out. Customers at one Virginia McDonald's got more than a Big Mac. Diners got quite a shock, in fact, after a car came crashing through the restaurant window. Look at that. Employees say the car was on the back of a tow truck. That is until the truck's cable snapped, sending the car flying through the window in the McDonald's. Luckily, no one was hurt. A 4-year-old California girl dials 911 just in time to save her mother's life. Last month, Darlene Baines and her daughter Desiree were home alone. All of a sudden, the mother grabbed her side in pain and started having seizures. This 4-year-old little girl called 911 and her mother was rushed to the hospital. The little girl acted just in the nick of time. Her mom's gallbladder was filled with stones and her appendix was about to burst.
How's this for a game day giveaway? Mullet night at a New Hampshire hockey arena. The Manchester Monarchs ice hockey team hosted its 3rd annual Mullet night. The first 5,000 fans into the place got a free, are you listening, Barracudas, mullet wig. He's bringing his suitcases for sure. The Jaguars are hoping he's packing sacks, too. Sam's here with our first sports. Sam?
Tom, there were a few big names out there in terms of guys who were free agents. Reggie Hayward might not have been a big name, but probably the most coveted guy out there, and he's agreed to a multi-year contract with the Jaguars. Why? There are no big rush ends who are available in the draft, and not that many who are 25 years old who had 10.5 sacks last year available in free agency. The Jaguars were able to lure Hayward here because they've got $20 million under the cap. They outbid everybody, and clearly Hayward wanted to play here as well. Hayward is a 6 foot 5 inch, 270-pound rush end who had 10.5 sacks last year. He's played 4 years with the Broncos after being drafted in the 3rd round out of Iowa State. Florida playing against Georgia tonight. Billy Donovan telling these guys, hey, you know what? You don't know what you're talking about. And it was pretty obvious as the game went on. Georgia could not do much. Anthony Roberson for 3. Georgia did lead 25-21 at half, but then in the second half, they scored just 13 points, 4 in the last 13 minutes and 50 seconds. 22 points for Roberson. Florida wins 50-38. They're now 19-7 and 11-4 in the conference. Tom?
Thank you, Sam. New at 10 tomorrow night, officials are sounding an alarm about a widespread health insurance scam. Unlicensed companies pretending to be health insurers pocketing your cash. We'll tell you what you need to know to avoid this coverage con tomorrow night on the 10 o'clock news.
Muscle-bound or bound by fat? A new study with some weighty findings that the NFL isn't happy about.
Some are back from war, others are still in Iraq. New at 10, how local members of the Army Corps of Engineers put their heads together to help rebuild a region.
But first, here are Jen and Bruce with a look at what's ahead on the morning show.
The man at the center of the 10 Commandments display debate live to talk about Supreme Court's latest hearing.
And baseball legend Ozzie Smith on the steroid scandal. It's tomorrow right here on the morning show. Tom and Mary.
Now here's Brad.
Temperatures are going to be chilly again tonight, but we have warmer weather right around the corner, and I'll tell you when that'll get here coming up.
You're watching the one and only Eyewitness News at 10.
Saturday, March 5th.
It's a clear and cold night out there. In fact, not totally clear. We've seen the clouds increase a little bit over the last couple of hours, but nothing like we're going to have tomorrow, as the clouds are going to thicken up as rain is going to be close by. The record for the month, well, for the beginning of the month so far, 1 for 1. We'll try to call it and make it 2 for 2 and give away another umbrella coming up in about 20 minutes. But right now, look to the west, and that's where the clouds are coming from. There's mainly some high clouds coming into our skies right now, and those will continue to spread towards the east. Look at all this rain from New Orleans back to Houston and the western Gulf of Mexico, and that's all dropping towards the southeast with this area of low pressure. For us now, high pressure that's kept us clear and dry through the daytime hours today, but it's a cold air mass, and our temperatures will continue to drop. As we head through the night and into the morning, this low will drop down into the Gulf of Mexico. The rain expands to the east, and there will be some heavy rain with this, but notice over the lower Mississippi River Valley and back over the waters of the Gulf of Mexico. Some showers moving into the western panhandle by tomorrow morning, and then this is going to travel southeast across the Gulf, which means that the northern edge of this rain is going to be very close to us, mainly to the south of the Jacksonville metro area, and the best chance of rain tomorrow in the state will be first over the panhandle and then over central and south Florida. We're just going to kind of be on the edge of this. So we'll start tomorrow morning at 7 o'clock with cold conditions. Not quite as cold as it was this morning, where we got down to 32 degrees, 36 tomorrow morning in Jacksonville. So although it's going to be chilly, we're going to avoid a freeze. So as we head from 7 o'clock through the morning hours, and we'll stop it here at noon, as you head out for lunch, 51 degrees in Jacksonville and down towards St. Augustine, and then some upper 40s still over southeastern Georgia. So even at the noon hour, it's going to be chilly because we're going to have more clouds in the area, so temperatures will be slow to rise. And under overcast skies by 4 o'clock, we're going to see temperatures only in the middle 50s. So whereas today we got up to 58 degrees, tomorrow looks like we're going to top out a couple of degrees cooler than that, with the best chance of rain staying a little bit to our south. So as far as sunshine tomorrow, a little bit early, then becoming mostly cloudy by late morning. Sunrise 6:50, sets at 6:27, and along the coast a light east breeze, less than 10 miles an hour, seas 2 to 3 feet. Inland waters a light chop, and your water temperature 56. Morning lows in the 30s for only 2 more mornings, then back in the 40s, and highs back near 70 as we head into the weekend. Our average high temperature this time of year, 70 degrees, so we'll be back there in a couple of days. And first part of next week, even warmer still, 74 ahead of a cold front that'll bring us some showers and maybe even some thunderstorms. Looks like by Thursday or Tuesday afternoon, rather. The timing's still 6 days out, a little bit iffy, but between now and then, clouds tomorrow, a few showers, that's about it. Chilly next couple of days.
Chilly.
But this weekend, that's what really counts. Weather's going to be great.
Beautiful. Look forward to that.
All right.
Thank you, Brad. Keeping tabs on your kids, sometimes they can be tricky. Mark Schumacher is testing out something called a child sentry. Does it work? That's new at 10.
Divorce isn't the end, just the beginning of a changed relationship. Dr. Phil wants you to remember to put the kids first in his tip of the day.
I'm Rob Sweeting. Just call him a knight, a new title for a computer billionaire, and it has nothing to do with his giant company. Next on Channel 4, the local station.
It is the greatest show on court. The slam dunking show-stopping performance of the Harlem Globetrotters.
They've been spanning the globe for 79 years. Tonight, wowing crowds at the Veterans Memorial Arena. Channel 4's Lauren Freeman has your front row seat at tonight's show. She is live in the Satellite Center. Lauren.
Tom, from the slam dunking to all the alley-oops, the Harlem Globetrotters strut their stuff at the arena tonight. They combine the perfect amount of skill and athleticism with entertainment.
They're really good slam dunkins.
The Harlem Globetrotters are the team to watch as they battle it out on the court against the other team, the Nationals.
They're just entertaining. The kids like them, and they put on a real good show. They appeal to everybody.
What do you think about that?
That's good.
The players taking the court at the arena tonight range in height from just 5'10" to 7'2". Their skill level, well, speaks for itself.
Very talented.
So talented, in fact, kids all over try and mimic their skills. And you guys work a lot on ball handling yourselves, don't you?
Yes, ma'am. Our coach, every Wednesday we have practice after we eat our lunch at school.
They may not be Harlem Globetrotters just yet, but this group of St. Augustine 3rd through 5th graders actually performed and opened up for the Harlem Globetrotters tonight. The group's been traveling the globe for 79 years. Millions have been entertained by their antics. Tonight, thousands more enjoyed the world-famous Harlem Globetrotters. After tonight's game, they'll now be heading to Daytona tomorrow and continue through the state after that. Live from the Satellite Center, Lauren Freeman, Channel 4, the local station.
In tonight's developing stories, nervous neighbors are watching as a giant sinkhole grows larger by the moment near Lake City in Columbia County. It is now 225 feet wide and about 100 feet long. The hole opened up yesterday. It is filling with underground water. Jacksonville police are searching some woods near Fort Caroline after a bone from a human was discovered. The medical examiner says the bone is part of a lower jaw. It was found near the 11,000 block of Fort Caroline Road. Police officers are searching for other remains and are trying to determine where the bone came from.
New at 10, they left their families to serve in the global war on terror. Now some local soldiers joining forces with those abroad to get the job done. Dozens of Jacksonville district employees with the Army Corps of Engineers, both military and civilian, are serving in Iraq and Afghanistan on various projects. Today, some of those who have returned home joined in a video conference with their colleagues abroad. They discussed the major issues in the region and what can be done to help. One of the biggest obstacles in Iraq, restoring electricity.
Saddam would take power from all throughout the country to feed Baghdad. So Baghdad was getting about 22 hours of power a day at the expense of the rest of the country. After the fall of Saddam, we were able to distribute evenly power throughout the country of Iraq.
One member of the Army Corps of Engineers who spent time in Afghanistan tells Channel 4 her main mission was repairing a bombed runway and building a new hospital. Right now, Afghanis have to use makeshift tents for medical care.
Covering the world tonight, they were working on the Iraqi government's case against Saddam Hussein. Now they're dead. Rob is joining us from the newsroom. Rob?
Well, Tom, sources say a judge and his son were killed by insurgents yesterday. You can see the bullet holes in this building where it happened. The pair were working with the tribunal that will hear human rights abuse charges against Saddam Hussein and his regime. Now, on Monday, the tribunal announced Hussein's half-brother would likely be the first to face trial on human rights charges. 2 car bombings in Iraq this morning leave more than a dozen people dead. The first was in central Baghdad near an Iraqi recruiting center. 6 soldiers were killed in that attack. Later, another bomb blast targets an Iraqi military convoy. That explosion killed 7 people. You may now hear the founder of the Microsoft referred to as Bill Gates, Knight Commander of the British Empire. Earlier today, the 49-year-old technology guru was knighted by Queen Elizabeth II.
British Empire was a very great pleasure to be able to do that.
Oh, brilliant.
Gates received the honor for his charities around the world and his contribution to industry in Britain. But you don't have to call him Sir. Only British recipients of knighthoods use that prefix. Instead, as an American, Gates can put the initials KBE after his name if he chooses.
New tonight, it is supposed to help you keep watch of your children if those children become separated from you. It's a gadget called the Child Sentry. Channel 4's Mark Schumacher hits them all to find out, does it work?
If this was how we all led our kids throughout stores and malls, then we parents would have no worries. But we know this is reality, busy feet, curious eyes, and all sorts of distractions. There are products to keep tabs on kids, but we decided to try the Child Sentry. These multicolored boxes set off an alarm if your child gets a certain distance away from you. So we put the receiver around Amber Statler's neck and the transmitter on the waistband of her son Hunter.
Yeah. Go ahead, check it out.
Then we let him go. Right off the bat, we were very encouraged. We initially set the distance close, and when Hunter got 6 or 7 feet away, it went off. Then we set it farther. You can go up to 33 feet, the product claims, and yes, it worked again.
What distance do you think you would want him, for lack of a better term, tethered in this situation? What would you feel comfortable? 15 feet?
That's about it.
Because at 30 feet there, was that
That's kind of far for me.
But as I tried the Sentry in different parts of the mall, it started going off sporadically at all different distances.
It's very iffy.
So to give it a fair test, I tried another Sentry unit, a green one, this time in the food court. It was a different color, but the very same problem.
But I have to tell you what concerns me is we've not been able to get the Child Sentry, either one, to work consistently at a correct distance. And you know what, if it's got interference here in a mall, I mean, what better training ground is this for this particular device?
So Child Sentry, nice effort, but I don't think so. When it comes to kids' safety, there is no margin for error, and that's exactly what we found again and again. I'm Mark Schumacher for Channel 4, the local station.
New on the Health Beat tonight, a chill in the air, and many of us are still feeling under the weather. Tonight, we've made some calls to find out what's going around in your neighborhood.
On the north side, Dr. Carol Wilson says many of her patients are suffering from upper respiratory infection and gastroenteritis. On the south side, Dr. Harold Lasky is seeing more patients with sinus and upper respiratory infection and sore throat. At Jacksonville Beach, Dr. John Tanner says his office is seeing a lot of bronchitis, strep throat, and upper respiratory infections. On the west side, Dr. Christy Aston says she's seeing patients with the flu. In St. Johns County, Dr. Howard Baker says the flu is still going around there, but there are fewer patients suffering. In Nassau County, Dr. James Price says there's a lot of viral and bacterial infections, upper respiratory infections, gastrointestinal problems, and severe allergies going around. And in Clay County, Dr. Kent Brodgum says his waiting room is filled with people suffering from upper respiratory infections, strep throat, and sinusitis.
You can catch a look at what's going around every Wednesday night on the 10 o'clock news.
Does NFL also stand for National Fat League? A new study contends more than half the pro players should be considered medically obese, and it suggests that bigger players don't necessarily make a team more successful. The NFL, however, does not accept these findings, calling the results inaccurate because they don't consider that muscle weighs more than fat. The study is in tomorrow's Journal of the American Medical Association.
The Caped Crusader, he's coming soon to an IMAX theater near you. Details ahead.
And later, hitting a hot spot for sizzling surfers.
And right now, the Jaguars are the sizzling team in free agency, having signed the #1 name out there. We'll talk about that in sports.
And in weather, things are cold, but clouds and rain moving in from the west. And I'll tell you what our chances are for getting wet coming up.
Now, here's Dr. Phil.
I want to talk to you today about marriage, and I'm talking about marriage when it's gone bad. What happens with the family? What happens with the children? When you divorce your spouse, you don't end a relationship, you just change it. Maybe you were friends and lovers and you lived together, and now you're just allies of your children. You will be forever their parents. You will be forever the two people in this world that are charged with their safety, their development. And they have heightened needs when they go through a divorce. Everything is exaggerated. Their need for assurance and safety, all of these things are exaggerated, and you have to be at your best parenting, not your worst parenting, when you're in a divorce situation. You have to rise above your emotions. You have to be selfless and put the children first. It will be one of the most important choices you ever make.
Health Feed is sponsored by Winn-Dixie.
And now, sports with Sam Kavaris.
It might not be a name that most fans recognize, but he was at the top of the list of most personnel directors and head coaches among those in free agency. Reggie Hayward's only been in the league 4 years. Last year he had 10.5 sacks. The year before that he had 8.5 sacks. At 6'5", 270, he is fast off the edge and can make a move, and now he's making a move to Jacksonville. Hayward is out of Iowa State, and you can see this guy can run. And it's exactly what the Jaguars and many other teams have been looking for. A speed guy coming off the edge who can affect the quarterback without having to blitz the linebackers. He did have that one interception last year as well. A 5-year veteran at 25 years old. He'll meet with Jack Del Rio and the media tomorrow morning, and we'll hear from him. That's quite a coup for the Jaguars, who have now spent some of their $20 million that they had available under the salary cap. The Jaguars did make a couple of other moves today as they signed Mark Michaels, who's an assistant special teams coach coming over from Seattle. He used to work for Pete Rodriguez there in Seattle. They also signed Joe Zelenka to a multi-year contract. Joe has now started 64 consecutive games for the Jaguars. And Martin Chase, a defensive lineman who didn't play last year for the New York Giants, apparently is meeting with the Jaguars and reached some sort of verbal agreement. He is more of a tackle than anything else. So the Jaguars have been busy and active, but not with some of the big names that you might have heard of, but exactly what they were looking for. Another position that they considered was wide receiver, but Derek Mason apparently has decided that he wanted more money. And that, you know, when you start to hand out millions of dollars to a guy who's been in the league 8 years, 31 years old, you never know what part of his career he's in. Is he in the prime? Is he in the downside? Is he near the end? It's hard to say. Mason's not a big guy, but he has been effective, and most recently, 96 catches for the Tennessee Titans last year, released in a salary cap move. He caught balls for more than 1,160 yards. So he goes from there to the Ravens, who were willing to give him that multi-million-dollar, multi-year contract. because the Ravens were 31st in the league in passing last year. So they may have a guy who can catch it. The question is whether or not they have anybody who can throw it to him right now. But Mason has signed with the Ravens. On the other end of the spectrum, the Jaguars and many other teams are now looking not only at free agency, but also to that third weekend in April to the NFL draft. And one guy, a local player, Seatric Faison, really made an impression this past week at the Indianapolis Combine with not only his speed and his toughness, but with his interviews as well. Faison, of course, left the University of Florida in December after 3 years there as a guy who is reliable, who can catch the ball out of the backfield, who can block, who can certainly run with the football. He's not a project because he played in a big-time program and has done the things that you hope that a running back will be able to do. But according to Faison, who we caught up with today at Jack's Beach, he's willing to do anything to make it in the league.
I just see myself going in and trying to make an impact. And if I could become the starter, I'd become the starter, and hopefully I'd be successful. If I got to be a backup my first year and learn behind a veteran that's been there for 8 or 10 years, I learn, and then when my time comes, I try to run away with the opportunity. But I see myself making a big impact on special teams and returning kicks next year.
Here's one of the reasons Billy Donovan is one of my favorite people in sports. The game's going on, by the way, while this is happening. Billy's having a conversation with these two Georgia fans, and he's saying, look, you don't know what you're talking about. Hopefully that was in the second half, because in the first half, Georgia did everything right, and they led 25-21. But in the second half, Florida got their act together. Anthony Roberson gives Florida a 42-34 lead. How about the inside move to Adrian Moss? 22 points for Roberson. Florida wins 50-38. Georgia scored 13 points in the second half. They only scored 4 points in the final 13-50. The Gators are now 19-7 and 11-4. One regular season game remaining, and that is against Kentucky on Sunday. You notice Florida only scored 50 points in this game.
Yeah.
All right? You score 50 points against Kentucky on Sunday, you lose by 30.
You humiliate.
Yeah, exactly. So they'll have to play a whole different kind of game this coming Sunday at home.
Thank you, Sam.
Okay.
Getting cool out there tonight, huh?
Yeah, it is chilly. Temperatures now down into the low to mid 40s for most of us. And we're headed down into the 30s, but this morning we were middle or low 30s. Tomorrow morning, middle 30s. So not quite as bad. And this is a trend that's going to take us to some warmer weather, in particular as we head towards the weekend. Right now, 43 degrees inland, 49 along our beaches, and winds are light out of the west at about 6 miles an hour. And with a dew point of 30, humidity of 60%, it's dry. But we've actually seen this come up a bit from earlier today with dew point in the teens. So it's chilly out there. We've got increasing humidity as a storm system is moving at us from the west. Our forecast for tomorrow morning calls for, look at this, partly cloudy skies. So a little bit of a change from what we saw today with the clear blue skies. 36 degrees, so cold to start the morning. And with increasing clouds through the morning hours, we're going to see those temperatures rise slowly. Tomorrow afternoon, it looks like we're not going to make it to 60. Satellite and radar picture shows the lack of clouds over us today, but back to the west, the clouds increasing, even some rain over sections of Alabama, Mississippi, and then heavy rain dropping out of eastern Texas into the western Gulf of Mexico with an area of low pressure. Now that low is dropping to the south and east as this ridge of high pressure is going to retreat. So what's going to happen is through the night into tomorrow morning, our clouds will increase a little bit. The rain will get a little closer, but not here, and it's going to be cold. What's going to happen tomorrow afternoon and evening is this low is going to travel to the southeast, and as the rain with it takes that general path as well, most of the rain is going to travel and pass just to our south. So we're just going to be on the edge of this, which puts your rain chance tomorrow at about 30% in the afternoon. So a cold start to the day. You can see it here with TrueView. Morning low temperatures in the mid to upper 30s along the beaches, middle 30s inland with just a few clouds. But by late morning, those clouds really thicken up. High temperatures, or rather noontime temperatures, in the upper 40s to low 50s for your lunch hour. And then as we head to the afternoon, high temperatures in around 4 o'clock. Middle 50s, not even 60 degrees. Normally this time of year, a high would top out around 70. And by 9 o'clock tomorrow, all of us back down into the 40s. And again, just a slight chance of rain. The best chance of showers will come south of the Jacksonville metro area as we head into tomorrow. So 25% of the day was sunshine. Sun rises tomorrow at 6:50, sets at 6:27. And there's a low tide at 7:31 tomorrow morning at Mayport, where winds will be light and variable early, east at about 7 to 10 miles an hour in the afternoon as that low pushes into the eastern Gulf of Mexico, seas at 2 to 3 feet, the surf only 1 foot. The future forecast shows morning lows in the 30s the next couple of mornings. High temperatures finally get back into the 60s on Friday and then back near 70 for Saturday and Sunday with mostly sunny skies. So tomorrow's going to be cloudy and cool, but the weekend is going to be great. Blue skies and temperatures near 70, and then we'll be back up to 74 as a front comes through, brings us a chance of thunderstorms. It looks like Tuesday afternoon, and we cool off a bit towards the middle of next week. But Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and the first part of Tuesday, looking pretty good. What about the 3-degree guarantee? I expected today to be cool and 58 degrees. And it was.
Look
cool
at that.
Wow.
58 degrees. So our new streak for March is up to 2. Well,
2 for 2.
That's not all that impressive, but it's a good start to the month. Jim Patterson from Jacksonville, tonight's winner of the Glad I Watch Bread umbrella. But it's a streak. It's a start.
Jim Patterson's happy about it.
Sure.
He got an umbrella out of the deal. Thank you, Brad.
Thank you.
It is no sidewalk surfing. It's the real thing, dude. We're riding some wild waves with the best of them. New at 10.
It's a good thing, so maybe Martha Stewart will be allowed to grab an Emmy in person.
Coming up on Eyewitness News at 11, scientists try to figure out why dozens of dolphins left the comforts of their home in the water for the beach in the Keys. And he's the heavyweight of heavyweights. But this crustacean is more than a meal. He may be a record breaker. Join us for the details at 11.
Time saver traffic.
Good evening, I'm Casey Black, and before you head out on the roads tomorrow, here's what you need to know about some traffic issues around town. One eastbound lane on the Matthews Bridge will be closed tomorrow for a routine bridge inspection. It will start at 9 a.m. tomorrow morning, and road crews should be finished by 3 p.m. tomorrow afternoon. Also tomorrow, one lane on both directions on the Main Street Bridge will be closed from 9 a.m. until 3 p.m. That, too, will be for maintenance. And be sure to join us tomorrow morning starting at 5 for all the day's news, weather, and, of course, traffic. I'm Casey Black, and that's your Time Saver Traffic.
Advance Auto Parts.
Soft Tub.
Topping tonight's Hollywood headlines, the nominees are out for the Daytime Emmy Awards. Ellen will try to repeat as Best Talk Show, while Ellen DeGeneres hopes to be named Best Host for the first time at the Daytime Emmys. Among the competition, Live with Regis and Kelly, which has never won Best Talk Show with Kelly or Kathy Lee. Martha Stewart's show has 3 nominations. She'll be out of jail by the time of the ceremony, but she will still have to ask permission to attend because she will be under house arrest. Winners will be announced May 20th. New Yorkers in Times Square got a chance to experience Jennifer Lopez's rebirth. Tuesday night, the pop star was on hand signing copies of her new album called Rebirth at the Virgin Megastore. The disc's first single, Get Right, has held on to the #1 spot for nearly 2 months now. First Jen and Brad, now Denise and Charlie, another Hollywood marriage on the rocks, this time with a baby on the way. Charlie Sheen and wife Denise Richards are headed for divorce court after less than 3 years of marriage. Richards is currently pregnant with the couple's second child, due in June. No word what prompted the split. Batman will be bigger than ever this summer. Batman Begins will not only be released in conventional theaters, but it can be seen on giant IMAX screens as well. The film, which looks at the dark origins of the Caped Crusader, will be released June 17th. To be the first to see the new trailer for Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, you'll have to go to the OC. The trailer will premiere next week on the Fox series. The film itself will be released May 19th.
They often use the word bored, but they are never, repeat, never bored by their sport. What they're up to now, next. You're watching Channel 4, the local station.
Jobs, homes, and autos. Great deals or a new career. You'll find them.
Cold tomorrow morning into the middle 30s and only managing to get to 56. Mostly cloudy and a few scattered showers possible, mainly south of Jacksonville. Still cool on Friday, but nice and warm Saturday and Sunday afternoon as high temperatures get up to near 70 degrees under mostly sunny skies. And later next week, another chance of showers and storms on Tuesday, and then a little bit cooler towards Wednesday of next week.
Thanks, Brad. They are hanging 10 in California. Some of the world's best surfers taking on the awesome waves at Half Moon Bay.
It is all part of what is billed as the most dangerous surfing event in the world, with waves reaching as high as 50 feet. Contestants at the famous surf spot include Brazil's best board rider and 2 of Australia's finest surfers. Of course, there are also plenty of locals getting out in the water as well.
That guy rode the whole thing and just kept on going.
You just stand there and look at those pictures.
That's beautiful. Thanks for being with us. I'm Mary Bear.
I'm Tom Wills. Please stay tuned. Eyewitness News at 11 starting right now.
A 13-year-old girl zapped by a JSO taser.
He tasered me 6 times.
And she says she's got the marks to prove it.
It has been a tough time for students and staff at Terry Parker High School, where a teacher has passed away and another has been arrested. I'm Scott Johnson. Will explain. It's coming up.
And who wouldn't want to boil and butter this guy? A larger-than-life lobster pulled from the ocean floor. Eyewitness News at 11 starts right now.
Live from WJXT Channel 4, this is the one and only Eyewitness News.
A great leader, a lady of dignity, a steel magnolia. Tonight, remembering former Congresswoman Tilly Fowler. Good evening, everyone. Congresswoman Fowler passed away this morning at St. Vincent's Medical Center.
She was admitted Monday after suffering a massive brain hemorrhage. All day long, leaders have been reflecting on Tilly Fowler's legacy, not just here in Jacksonville, but on Capitol Hill as well. Channel 4's Adam Landau has been talking to some of them here at home about their memories of Congresswoman Fowler. He joins us live tonight with more. Adam?
Lauren, her funeral is Friday, and we're expecting a who's who of Washington to be here. But of course, right now, this story is extremely local, as all her friends here say she never forgot where she came from. In 2001, her friends held this Thanks Tilly rally after her last day in Congress. This after then Congresswoman Fowler explained why she only wanted to serve 8 years in the House.
I wanted to prove that you didn't have to be there 20 or 30 years to make a difference, that if you're willing to work hard, do your homework, that you can make a difference, and I think I showed that.
Now, many of those same supporters and friends will pack St. Mark's Episcopal Church to say goodbye for good.
Well, I love Tilly very much. We were great friends. She was a great mentor to me.
Acting Supervisor of Elections Bill Shy was Tilly Fowler's friend for 25 years. He was on vacation in Colorado, but rushed home for her funeral.
She was always in the halls of power, but she never lost her humility. She could walk the halls with the most powerful, but she'd come back to Jacksonville, and all of her friends were just good old Tilly, and she had many, many friends.
On the floor of the House, Tilly Fowler's former colleagues took time to remember her and comfort her family.
Our prayers are with Tilly's family during this difficult time, and we will all miss her greatly. Her loved ones should know that Tilly left them, our country, and all who had the good fortune to know her, a wonderful and lasting legacy.
And we know right now in Washington, dozens of members of Congress are right now trying to finalize their travel plans to be here on Friday for the funeral. But for those who can't, we know next Tuesday, there's a plan to remember her then in Washington. We're live in Ortega. Adam Landau, Channel 4, the local station.
Tilly Fowler will be laid to rest on Friday. The public service will be at 1 o'clock at St. Mark's Episcopal Church on Oxford Avenue in Ortega. Channel 4 has learned that Senator Elizabeth Dole will play a major role in that service. Senator Dole is a godmother to one of the Fowler's daughters. We also are expecting a number of military leaders to attend as well. There is word that even Secretary of Defense Donald Rumsfeld will be there as well. In lieu of flowers, the family is asking that donations be made to the Tilly K. Fowler NROTC Scholarship Fund at Jacksonville University. For more information about the services and a complete look at Tilly Fowler's political career, log on to news4jax.com.
A Jacksonville teen zapped by a taser after police say she went ballistic, repeatedly kicking and punching her mother. According to Jacksonville police, they tried to get the 13-year-old to cooperate many times, but with no luck. Tonight, that girl's mother says she called police hoping that they would calm her down, but never expected them to use a taser. The teen says they used the taser on her 6 times. Police say it was only 2.
It felt like a bunch of static electricity, like multiple static electricity all over my back and legs.
Well, right now, the sheriff's office is reviewing the case, but Undersheriff Frank McAsee is defending the use of tasers. He says the taser that was used in this particular case was not the typical kind. Instead of shooting electricity up the body, it only caused pain to one specific area.
Trying times for students and faculty at Terry Parker High School. Shocking news about 2 teachers at that school. Science teacher Terry Hannibus passed away suddenly this week. Police are not saying how he died, but they say it appears to be from natural causes. And in an unrelated case, driver's ed teacher and former vice principal Lamar Minton was arrested. Police say he's been growing marijuana in his home. Channel 4's Scott Johnson has more on both of these cases. He joins us live tonight. Scott?
Lauren, news is slowly spreading here on campus. Just a minute ago, we had a Terry Parker High senior stop by and ask what was going on. We told him the news of the two teachers he hadn't heard yet, but he was simply shocked. A tough couple of days at Terry Parker High School, where police have been involved with two teachers, one for criminal reasons, and the other case is even more serious.
Just out of the blue. You'd never expect it.
Eddie Berneman's neighbor, Terry Hannibus, was found dead in his West Side home today. Hannibus was a teacher at Terry Parker High.
Just a real nice guy. He was the best neighbor you'd want to have. He didn't bother nobody.
Police tell Channel 4 that a body had been found inside after being there for a few days, and the school district confirms it was Hannibus.
That's the last thing you expected.
But this isn't the only problem Terry Parker has been dealing with. In an unrelated case, the school's driver's ed teacher, Lamar Minton, has been arrested for possessing marijuana. Police reports say that officers found approximately 40 marijuana plants inside his home.
That puts a message to everybody that, oh yeah, it's okay. If I can do it, you can do it, you know.
Parents we talked to say they worry about the impact this arrest will have on their kids.
Yeah, that makes it even more tougher, you know, especially for the parents.
And the school district tells us as of now that Minton has been relieved of his duties here at Terry Parker after the arrest. And as far as Hannibus, police say they don't know the exact cause of death at this point, but it appears to be natural. We are live in Arlington. Scott Johnson, Channel 4, the local station.
If you're outside earlier this evening and go outside right now, wow, what a difference. The temperature's really beginning to drop, but it's a clear night. It's a beautiful night outside. You're looking live from our tower cam right about now, and not too many clouds in the sky and just a clear, crisp night. Senior meteorologist Brad Nitz has our first forecast. Brad?
Yeah, crisp is one way to describe it. It's going to be cold as we head towards tomorrow morning, but not as cold as it was this morning. And you look at the satellite picture, you see very few clouds. We saw a lot of sunshine earlier today, but look back towards the west over sections of Alabama and into Georgia, the clouds beginning to increase, so that by tomorrow morning around 7 o'clock, we'll have partly cloudy skies as those clouds will increase from the west, and mainly high clouds, and morning low temperatures, well, they get down to about 36 degrees. So not as cold as the freeze we saw this morning as we got down to 32. Nonetheless, a chilly start to the day under partly cloudy skies. But by mid to late morning, around 10, 11 o'clock, we should see the skies mostly cloudy, and there's going to be rain in the area, but mainly to the south of the Jacksonville metro area. So just a chance of a few scattered showers, about 30% chance of rain for tomorrow. We'll detail that, where the rain likely will be, and of course, when we'll have an end to this cold weather and when we'll warm back up again. All that for you in just a few minutes.
Thanks, Brad. Well, day by day, it keeps getting bigger. A sinkhole in Columbia County is now more than 225 feet wide and eating away more land. Tonight, city workers are filling the hole in with 400 bags of sand. They're hoping that it will stop the sinkhole from spreading. Right now, residents within a half-mile of the sinkhole remain under a boil water advisory. In addition, part of County Road 252 near the massive problem remains closed to traffic.
Coming up tomorrow, we're expecting to learn brand new information about the fate of Edward Waters College. On Monday, a judge granted the school a stay, allowing it to keep its accreditation until Thursday. EWC is fighting to keep that certification. You'll remember the Southern Association of Colleges and Schools stripped EWC of its accreditation after a plagiarism scandal. Tomorrow, school officials could learn whether or not they will be able to reverse that decision. Without accreditation, students lose their federal aid. Folks at one McDonald's got a lot extra with their value meals: burgers, fries, Coke, and a car. I'll tell you how this vehicle ended up halfway inside of Mickey D's.
Plus, a race to save dozens of dolphins stranded in the sand off the Florida coast.
Cassett Avenue, live from WJXT, Rob Sweeting, Lauren Freeman, meteorologist Brad Nitz, and Sam Kavaris with sports. This is the one and only Eyewitness News.
Focusing on